Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So I'm here with another video about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. And this time is to talk about how to improve your battery life. I just made a video the other day talking about the terrible battery life that I've been getting with my phone. About 3 hours and 45 minutes, 4 hours of screen on time, which is pretty horrendous, especially when it comes to, well, it's a $1,200 phone and it's got a 5,000 milliamp battery. So yes, some people in the comments seem like they're getting really good battery life. Initially, I was getting pretty decent, and it just went downhill. So this is not something that just applies to the S21 Ultra, though. This can work with the S21, S21 Plus, or really any other Android phone that you're using that supports a lot of these features. So we're going to go in, and I'm going to show you specifically in the phone some of the things that you can adjust that will increase your battery life. How to use dark mode versus light mode, how to turn down the resolution, how to turn down the refresh rate, how to clear some of the things out in your memory or the background applications that are running. And this should, combining these things together, or the ones that you want to turn on and don't want to, can make your phone life longer. So we're going to go and do that. But before we do, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's find out how to get more battery life. So here's my S21 Ultra, and we're going to go in. I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do. Before we get started, I'm going to show you the battery life that I'm getting for today. So from a 100% charge, the way you can check your battery life is to go all the way down in the settings, and it's right here under battery and device care. And this is actually an important section here. It kind of tells you a little bit about what's going on. So right now, battery tells me how much time I've got left, also some storage, your memory, and device protection. So right now you can see 91 of 100 closed background apps is right now. Click on this, on battery, and it will take you into this area. So this will tell you specifically what's going on with your battery. And you can check here. If you swipe, you can see the average for the week, average daily usage. So I'm using all my battery every day because I have to recharge it during the day. Now we'll go ahead and check this out and tap on it. We can see that I've gotten 4 hours and 17 minutes of screen on time. I have 26% battery left. This is what I'm talking about. This is not good. And you can see I use Chrome quite a bit. But you can also take a look at this and you can see exactly where your battery usage is going. And screen on time is a battery statistic itself. The screen being on takes up the most battery usage of anything that your phone uses. So now that we know how to check the battery usage, how much we have left, how much we're using, we can go and we can look at some things that will show us how to get more battery. So going back to the settings menu in the battery here, you can do this and you can click on Optimize Now. This right here will check, it will close things out, it'll show things like battery usage detection on apps and things like that. So it'll optimize your phone, which will help it run better, and also you'll get the most out of your battery life. So that's something that's cool that you can do. Also, you can change the battery profiles on here. So inside of the battery, you can go down here to power saving mode. If you turn on power saving mode, there's different options in here that you can select that will save your battery life. And it doesn't have to be all of them. You can pick and choose some of the ones that you want to do. So decrease brightness by 10%. Well, if you turn down the brightness on your screen, then yes, it will save battery life. Limit apps in the home screen, limit CPU speed to 70%. If you have a not so powerful phone, then that might be something fairly substantial. But if you have the Snapdragon 888 processor and you take 30% off the top end, you're still going to have a pretty well-performing phone. So you could do that. You can turn off the always-on display, which will also help save you battery. So you can turn that on, and you can pick and choose the options that you have here. That's something that will help save you on your battery life. You can go to more battery settings. So I have adaptive battery on. This right here, it enables the phone to kind of learn some of the stuff for your app usage, what it can turn on and turn off to save battery life. That should be on by default. And now we can go to the settings here and go over some of the things that are important. So the first thing is we're going to go into display. Now display is going to have a lot of different areas that you're going to find ways to save on your battery life. One of them is right here at the very top, light mode and dark mode. Light mode uses a lot more white, which uses a lot more power to produce those whites instead of the native black colors, which they're not as bright and it doesn't use as much battery to replicate them. So if you have light mode on, you can see a big difference there. It takes a lot more power to push out light mode than it does dark mode. That's why one of the reasons why people love it so much. You can go here to dark mode settings. You can even schedule it. So if you want dark mode to come on in the evening, the OLED screen that you're using is very bright. It can be bright on your eyes. Maybe you don't like it at night. You can set up a schedule and that will make it where during certain times you can use dark mode or light mode, and that will help out as well. But yes, turning on dark mode will save on your battery. Here's probably one of the biggest things right here, and that's the actual brightness. You can see I keep mine up very, very high. I've always just liked the brightness really high on my phone. I don't like it when I turn the brightness down, but some people use the brightness kind of around the middle, which might be kind of ideal for saving battery, but of course you can go lower than that as well. And that's something that's going to impact your battery life and will help make it last longer. So set that wherever you want. And then you have adaptive brightness. So adaptive brightness is actually pretty ideal for battery saving settings because what it does is it adjusts the brightness based off of the ambient light and also the direct light. So that impacts what the brightness looks like. So when it's really, really bright, it will turn it down. When it's really, really dim, it will turn it up. And this just keeps your screen at an optimum lower brightness so that way you're saving battery all the time. So that is an important feature, but I don't like it because it's usually too dim for me. Motion smoothness. This right here, this is one that kind of I get a little irritated about when it comes to this phone. I really like the increased 120 Hz refresh rate on the screen, especially at the Quad HD Plus resolution. That's one of the main selling points for this phone. However, it uses a lot more battery. So if you want to turn off the 120 Hz and go with the standard 60 Hz, that will also save you on battery. So if you turn that off, it doesn't really change the experience too much, and many people probably won't even care that much, especially if you're getting increased battery life. This one right there will definitely help you out. So you can do that and put it on standard. I like to leave mine on 120 Hz, and you can probably see as we're going through some of these settings why my battery life may not be as high as some other people's, because I like everything maxed out. So that's one other tip that you can do. Another thing that you can do is you can go to screen resolution. Now this is a big one. You can adjust the screen resolution. So you've got Quad HD Plus, you've got Full HD, and then you've even got HD, which is the 720p. We'll go ahead and take a look at those. But from what you can see here, improved visuals, we'll start with HD Plus. So basic visuals, lowest battery use. The lower the resolution, the less the processor has to work to put everything on the screen, so you get better battery life. So right here, 720p, you may not even tell that much of a difference. So this is 720p. You can see that it still looks pretty darn good. And actually, I even confused myself. I changed it to this just on playing around with my phone a few weeks ago, and I left it like this for a day or two. And honestly, I didn't even really notice much of a difference. So yeah, that's 720p, but that right there actually will save on your battery. And then we can go to Full HD Plus, which is your 1080p. And then you can see there, this is what it looks like. There's not a huge substantial difference. A lot of people really like to use 1080p because it's kind of a sweet spot. It still looks really good, but you still save on your battery life versus the Quad HD Plus. And then we've got Quad HD Plus. We'll go back to display right here, and then that's the maximum, which is what it was on by default. So that's another way that you can save some battery life. Now, other things you can do, you can disable edge panels, you can turn off the always on display. The always on display is really nice, but it eats up a lot of battery. So something else you can do on here is your screen timeout. So if the screen burns up the most battery when you're using your phone, you want it to turn off kind of quickly whenever you're not using it. I do a lot of reviews, I do a lot of stuff with my phone, I leave my screen on a lot. So I like mine to be on 5 minutes because like right now when I'm doing this video, if I don't touch the screen for a second, it might shut off. But if you put it on 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 1 minute, what this does is if you don't manually turn off the screen, it will turn off on its own during that time period, and that will shut it off, which helps save battery. So that's another important thing that you can do. Now, another thing you can do is you can actually turn off the always on display. So if you have your always on display on, then that's something that will eat up more battery as well. You can see that I have mine turned off, but that is something that will use additional battery. and it doesn't have a huge impact other than, being able to see the clock and some other things. But if you have it on, you find yourself losing a lot of battery, you can always turn that off. The last thing I want to talk about is 5G. So when it comes to 5G, the antenna uses more power than the normal 4G LTE one. Maybe it's gotten better since they've come out with additional newer antennas. The technology is getting better, but that's something that will impact your phone. If you don't have 5G in your area, it might be worthwhile to turn it off. So to do that, you go into mobile networks, and then you can see here under network mode. Now if you have AT&T, you won't be able to change this, but you can with T-Mobile and some other carriers. What this does is it turns off the 5G antenna. It may not even be that great in your area. So if you find that your 5G speeds are not that great and LTE was working perfectly fine for you, very easy. Go in here and you can change it and just put it on LTE 3G/2G. Turn off the 5G, and that will help save some battery life as well. I like to leave mine on because the 5G is better in my area than the LTE because of the newer towers. But overall, this is something that you can do to save on your battery life as well. So out of all those steps, hopefully that's been helpful for you, and hopefully these are some easy things that you can go in and change on your phone so you can increase your battery life. So there you have it, folks. Those are some easy ways that you can go in on your own and adjust the settings on your phone so you can get better battery life with your S21 Ultra. Again, let me remind you, this will work with other phones as well, especially as long as they have the same features, but especially if you have an S21 or if you have an S21 Plus, because the operating system and user interface with One UI is identical. So it's very, very easy to change those things. So if you find that you're not getting the kind of battery life that you'd like to, if you find yourself in a position where you need to get better battery life, or if you just want to find a way to where you can kind of tweak it a little bit where you still get a really good performance, but you kind of stretch out that battery life to get you through the day so you're not looking for the charger as fast. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully I explained some of that stuff in very easy steps so that you can follow along and go through and change it. But that's all I have on this video. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.